Good morning, y'all. It's Marianne Pack, your spiritual guide, and we are here for Coffee and Convo Live. Our guest today is Manda Stack, and she is the founder of mydivineintuition.com. So welcome, Manda. I'm so glad you're here.
Hi, Marianne. Great to be here with you and coffee and conversation.
Thank you. I just wanted to let everybody know, if you do have questions or comments, put them in the chat. If you want us to know who it is, you have to give StreamYard your permission, so it can come through Facebook. So if you do have questions and you want us to know who's asking the questions or comments, let us know who you are. So I think when you go into chat, it'll ask you whether or not you'll give permission for StreamYard to allow your identity to be known. So that's just one little item. Got a few things on our list. We also have some questions. So towards the end, we'll address some questions. I'll have Amanda answer some questions that have come in. So I do want to introduce Manda to you, and I want to read it to you because her bio is very extensive, but I won't tell you everything, but there's just so much to know about Manda and how precious she is. And just for you all, if you didn't see the invitation announcement the other day that we did live, Manda and I have known each other for quite a while. We actually were in a coaching program together with Darla Ledoux from Sourced Experience. And we just had the wonderful opportunity to retreat together. And I've got to see her in person and how she presents and how she is so awesome at helping us listen to our intuition and know to trust it and how to develop a relationship with it. So we're going to have a lot of fun today. That's the whole point of these coffee and combos, is to have fun, and it leads to joy. So let me read you a little bit about my friend Manda. Manda Stack is an intuitive coach and energy clearing specialist. She's passionate about clearing the connection between you and your divine source, so that you can receive the freedom, flow, and joy in life that you deserve. Through her intuitive and energy work, Manda empowers you to become a master of your own decision-making, which we're going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes, which brings you into the beautiful alignment and flow. Manda hosts virtual and in-person retreats and groups, as well as working one-on-one with clients. She has over 23 years experience in energy work and healing arts. She lives in Wisconsin with her cat, Curtis, Precious Curtis, who apparently is quite intuitive himself. So welcome, Manda. Again, I want to welcome you to our Coffee and Convo Live.
My great pleasure and honor to be here with you this morning, Marianne.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. So we're going to have fun talking about all things intuition and energy clearing and find out what all that means. So we're actually going to jump right in because I have a ton of questions for her, and I want us to get to as much as we can. So how did you come to be an intuitive coach, an energy clearing specialist?
Well, it actually comes from a long history of not using my intuition, but actually letting other people define who I should be and what I should do in the world. And, as I've been looking back in my life, I can actually trace it back to when I was 3 years old, when I had an experience of my brother being adopted into my family as an infant. So here I was, the 3-year-old, the center of the family. And then my brother came along, which is actually, a common occurrence for a lot of people to welcome siblings into their families. And for our family, it had the extra dimension of my brother having arrived with some developmental disabilities and illnesses. So our family was thrown into this world of him needing surgeries and extra tutors and care. And so, me as a happy-go-lucky 3-year-old, my world was thrown into this weird chaos where I was kind of pushed aside, and I didn't understand. I was confused why my parents were so focused on this, my brother, when here I had all this joy and excitement to share. And I internalized the message, whether or not my parents actually said this out loud, but the message I got was to be quiet, stay behind the scenes, don't make a fuss, we need to focus on your brother. And so over the years, I can see how I really turned inward. And instead of being able to relate with people easily on the outside and talking and connecting outwardly, from being inward and observant, I was very aware of the energy around in people's life, in the room and among people. I didn't have a language or way to describe it at the time, but now looking back, I can see that it was my inner wisdom blossoming, and trying to nudge me along and show me what was going on around. So over the years, I listened to that inner wisdom and grew more and more into it and to trust it, and which allowed me to kind of release those old messages that weren't serving me anymore. And I think many people can probably relate to that. We've all, internalized messages that may not serve our highest good. So one of the ways that our intuition comes online is when we learn to really trust ourselves, trust our inner wisdom. So over the years, I guess, long story short, I learned to trust and let it shine and really put to service this intuition that I had, that I could see what was going on with other people and offer some other points of view that were helpful for people.
That's awesome. I like that you were able to, continue to do that even from childhood, because there are so many of us that actually what we experience as a child tends to kind of quell or squelch some of those inner workings. I mean, I feel like that more happened with me because it wasn't really safe to be that little social butterfly and that one that was, it was sort of like just be quiet, be there, you're the kid. But so, yeah, it's awesome that you actually were able to develop that. And I really like that. So I was wondering what, for people to understand about your energy clearing, even, what does an energy clearing session look like? I mean, what would people expect? What do they clear? Is
All
it
right.
themselves, their home, their business? What is that about?
Good question. So as my intuition was blossoming, I noticed that people had a lot of energetic blocks, things that were getting in the way of them flowing freely and connecting with their own inner wisdom. So I became really curious about helping people to clear the blocks, release those things that they no longer needed to carry. So I went and got training and certification in energy clearing so that I could support people in that. So energy clearing, I'll break it down into the two types of clearing that I do. One is the personal clearing for people, and the other is for spaces such as homes and businesses. So personal energy clearing, what it looks like is actually, it looks a lot like this. I do a lot of my work on video. Energy doesn't know boundaries. So even before the pandemic, I worked with people all over the United States and even around the world easily through video. So a session with me looks like us getting together like this, and I go into a light state of meditation. And we talk throughout the clearing, and I share as I clear different layers of a person's energy field. I share what I'm clearing, and the person can talk and ask questions the whole time. So it's not the type of energy clearing I do is not like Reiki, where sometimes people need to be lying on a table and have some hands-on work. Again, energy, works in marvelous, mysterious ways, and so. The fact that I can tune into someone who's, miles and miles away, just like this, and clear for them is pretty amazing. It's a gentle, easy, but powerful process. So some people, one of my teachers describes it as invisible acupuncture. So if you've ever had acupuncture, you know that the needle, would go into a certain meridian, and it would kind of release and let things flow easier throughout your system. Energy clearing is a lot like that. It doesn't involve needles, though. It involves me focusing and clearing and tuning into and releasing a stuck area in your energy field. So the reason people come to me, my clients often are in some sort of discomfort in an area of their lives. Maybe a relationship isn't fulfilling, or their career, they have some decision to make around that. Or they're just feeling stuck, and energy clearing can really support that. So the benefits of an energy clearing, my clients almost always say immediately after I've cleared them, they're like, oh, I feel so relaxed. Mm-hmm. So it does feel like after you've been to an acupuncture session, it physically relaxes you, it energetically relaxes you. And then when the balance is brought to you, you never know what can happen, what can open up in your life. Like I did a session for one of my clients who's a business owner, and she was really successful in a particular area of her work. And she shared with me that she really wanted to turn in a different direction and focus on a new niche that she was really passionate about. But for over a year, she'd been talking herself out of it because she didn't, well, actually, it was because of her own self-doubt. She had all the ability to do this. And so I did the clearing for her. And what happened was, literally the next morning, she received an invitation from a podcast to come on and share in this new niche that she was looking to break into. Wow. This invitation came, and I see a thing often in the wake of an energy clearing. Like once things come into balance, people that you have been estranged from might reach out and, invite some new connection and healing and forgiveness. And it's really beautiful. And that's why I'm so passionate and dedicated to helping people clear their energy. So that's personal energy clearing. Mm-hmm. Our homes also can attract and hold stressed energy. When someone moves into a home where previous occupants have lived, there are energetic imprints of the previous occupants that I often find when I clear, mm-hmm. where, maybe someone sat at the dining room table and ruminated and read the news and got really upset. And then, so now when they're in that room, they kind of energetically pick up on this heavy, worried energy. And it's actually not their energy, but they resonate with it and click into it because it's still kind of hanging in the air. Mm-hmm. So that's one example of a type of stress energy that can hang in our homes and affect us. And I work, I work by distance, even for home clearings, for using a floor plan that the client provides me. They can either hand draw it, or if they have, floor plans already, they can send that to me. And one clearing I did, after the clearing happened in their home, that she reported back to me a couple of weeks later. She said that their rescue dog that they'd had for, I don't know, over a year, started this new behavior that he'd never done before, which was turn on its back and want a belly rub. Before the energy clearing, that dog would not let anyone touch its belly. After the energy clearing, there was, and we know animals are really sensitive to energy. Yeah. So this sweet little rescue dog felt safe and relaxed enough now to open up to really receive love and affection in a new way. And that's just one of the, I never know what can predict what's going to happen, but I thought that was a beautiful example of ways that energy can really affect us and our pets too.
Absolutely. And you're talking about, people feeling that when they move into a home. I bought a home one time, and it was for my real estate business, but I bought a home and I walked in and I just knew this house was mine. I felt it. And, but as we were walking through the house, this one back bedroom was very sad feeling. It was a noticeable difference. You walk down the hall, you're feeling good. And all of a sudden you walk into this bedroom and it was just like, it just felt like heavy. It felt like a cloud. So after I purchased that house, I had a couple of friends that are also intuitive healers, and we actually smudged that whole house and after that, I never felt that feeling again. We released that. I totally understand that. And I love that you're able to do that by distance. Like you said, energy knows no boundaries. We know that even scientific when they do testings and separate, cells from one person, and they're across the country, and the cells respond when they stimulate the patient. So I definitely understand that completely. Their energy is definitely knows no bounds. So I love that you're able to do this. And like, I'm in Texas and she's in Wisconsin. Manda's in Wisconsin. So I love that we have this opportunity, that this technology is here for us to be able to come together and we can do these healings. This healing doesn't have to just be localized. This energy work is everywhere. Transformation is an energy vibration, and they carry everywhere. So I want, Amanda has a guide that I want her to tell us about, because I have actually used some of the techniques in this guide. And I want you to tell them about the non-dominant hand one, because I have something I want to show you.
Ooh, that's intriguing. All right. So I created a guide. It's called a decision-making guide, supercharge your decision-making abilities, because I noticed that a lot of my clients were coming to me with some sort of decision that they needed to make. And what was important to me was not just that they were able to come to a decision, but that they be able to hear their own inner wisdom. And people come to hear or know their inner wisdom in different ways. So I put together a decision-making guide that has 7 different ways that you can access your intuition. And everything from dream work, using your dreams in certain intentional ways to get information, dreams at night. And you mentioned, Marianne, the non-dominant hand one. Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing how that one went. So journaling is a powerful way to access your intuition. There are different ways to do that. And one of them involves a sort of dialogue. So if you're right-handed, right-hand dominant, that's how you easily write. So if you write a question or an intention with your dominant hand, and then if you use a pen or pencil with your non-dominant hand to come up with the answer. There's something about using your non-dominant hand that clears the usual mind channels and gets beyond that. So, it may not look as neat as your dominant handwriting, but
for sure,
Yeah, but that's all right. This is just for you. This is for your information. So it bypasses your thinking mind, which allows you to access your intuition. So just letting it flow, letting what wants to come through your non-dominant hand come through, and not censoring, and just allowing it. And that is a way to open to your intuition and get some information and maybe some answers. So I'm curious, Marianne, how did that go for you?
I want to tell y'all, I've used this particular, especially this one, I think was the most profound for me. So on January 27th of 2019 is when I did this, and I had made a journal entry, and I was going to practice this particular process that she offers. So this is, I searched through I have all these little, just inexpensive little journals, and I have tons and tons of them because I journal every day. So the last one I pulled, I finally found my entry, and this is my actual entry from that day. Well, but you can maybe see how I started here, and it's just messy. And I got this whole next page from my intuition, from my inner being. And it was the most beautiful, comforting, loving message. And I just, it's just like when you're in that alignment and you feel that flow, you just tear. And I'm starting to tear up again because this is profound, people. This is amazing work to get to hear from your intuition and to develop that relationship with who you really are, that inner being, that soul, that quiet part of us who so unconditionally loves us, and to blend with the whole of who we are. So I just wanted to surprise Manda with that.
Yeah, look at that.
So
Beautiful.
So I definitely encourage you all, she doesn't have time to go into every one of her processes here, but get this guide. It's at mydivineintuition.com/guide. Very simple. Go to her website. Even if you can't remember that, just remember her website name. It's in the chat over here on the side. And so go get this guide. It's free. She's put it together just for, people to be able to start learning from their own intuition and trusting it and hearing it. So I greatly appreciate this guide, Manda. This has made a profound effect on me. So I just wanted to share that first one that I did.
Fantastic.
That was right after I got that guide. I had to sit down and read through it and pick one. And that one resonated with me that day.
Oh, I love it. I love it, Marianne.
I loved it. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you want to actually mention about that guide before we move on?
For those people who come from a more traditional religious background, some people question, is your intuition, is it safe to trust my intuition? I thought I should only listen to God. And I want to share with you that my background actually is in ordained ministry. I was a church pastor for 23 years and loved it, loved serving the people, loved, sharing the word of God. And at the same time, I also was aware that there's, so much more.
Absolutely.
So much more. And so I, got the training in the intuition and energy clearing so that I could serve a wider array of people, both in the church and, those who may not have a church background. But sometimes people come to me with a concern and worry that they may be treading in territory that they shouldn't. They've been taught is not a good area to be in. But I want to assure people, and this is a good place to listen to your own inner wisdom again. Mm-hmm. I named my business My Divine Intuition because I believe that we were each created with this ability to hear our inner wisdom. Did you know that the root word for intuition is tuere, which means to guard and to protect? So there's a reason that we have been wired with the ability to hear our inner wisdom. It's just that most people have lost touch with it, or don't trust it, or don't know how to access it. So I do believe that our inner wisdom, our intuition, is divinely given, and it's there to guide us, guard us, protect us, and show us the way. It is, we are created by God, and I don't think God would have created us with this ability if God didn't intend for us to use it and access it, and live lives as fully and freely and joyfully as we can.
I absolutely agree with that. I think we do have that divine flowing through us. I feel like that's why we're here, that we're created to have this soul. We are an extension of source. We are an extension of God. And I believe that our intuition is that our soul speaking to us, that divine part of us, that spark of God that's in us. And again, like I spoke on the announcement one, our intuition doesn't scream at us ever. It's a gentle, quiet movement. It's a gentle hearing. And it's something that we just need to learn to trust again, because it is who we are. It's, when we can connect spirit, mind, and body, we are the wholeness of who we are. We're living the way we meant to when we came here. So I definitely agree, because I also came from a very traditional church background, and this would have been wooey wooey, but yet it's not. We are children of God. So, God can lead us and speak to us very clearly, but it's in a gentle, still, calm voice. Mm-hmm. So don't expect, bricks over the head. Don't expect, a screaming message at you. You have to be attentive. So I definitely encourage you to get this guide. Go to Manda's website. And even if you can't remember that it's /guide, just look on her website. I'm sure it is well identified there. So I was wondering, since we're in this mode, would you be willing to lead us in like tuning into our inner, our intuition? Would you be willing to do that for us here today?
I would. I have this very great brief way for us to access something that's real basic to each of our intuition, which is our intuitive yes and our intuitive no, like what that is like for each of us. And it's unique for everyone. So when we have that knowing of what is our yes and our no, that can help us in our decision making. So this little exercise is what I call green light, red light. So I just invite us to notice our breathing. Take a nice breath if you want, nice, long, relaxing breath, and come into the present moment. If you want to close your eyes, you can. And I want you to imagine that you are driving and you're stopped at a traffic light that is red, and you're just sitting there waiting for it to turn green. And so you're just sitting there, neutral and curious. There's no one at all behind you. There's no rush. And what I want you to feel for in your body, or listen for, or hear, or sense, however you will, is when the light turns green, I want you to not press on the gas yet, but what I want you to notice first is what it feels like in your body when the light turns green. Now hold on, it hasn't turned green yet, it's still red. So just breathe, and knowing that green represents our yes and what our yes is like for us. We're gonna, when the light turns green, you don't have to even press on the gas. Just sit there and notice. You have all the time in the world to notice what it feels like for you. So it's going to turn green on the count of 3, and then just Be quiet and notice and feel where in your body. 3, 2, 1, it turned green. What does it feel like in your body? Is there a warmth? Is there an expansiveness? Is it in your belly or your chest or your head or your arms? Is it an opening feeling or a forward feeling? What does that green light, your intuitive yes, feel like for you? All right, now we're going to erase in our minds. We're just going to erase that scene like an eraser on a whiteboard. And we're going to enter into a scene where we're driving and making our way toward a light. The light way up ahead is still green, but you know it's probably going to turn yellow and red pretty soon. So you're getting ready to slow and stop. And we're going to do the same thing with red. All right, you see up ahead, it just turned yellow, and you're making your way up to the red light. There's no one else around. It's just you. There's no pressure. All right, make your way, and then it turns red, and you stop, and you notice, how does that feel in your body? How does red light feel to stop? Where do you feel it in your body? What does it feel like? Does it have a color, a temperature, a direction? All right, just breathe into that one again. Nice deep breath. And so, when you're ready, you can open your eyes again. All right, red light meaning your no, green light representing your yes. Marianne, how was that for you? What came up for you in each color?
That was actually awesome, because when it turned green, I kind of felt like a leap from my chest, like forward. And with my eyes closed, envisioning, I saw it was more of an expansive color moving out, kind of just an art color in it, but it was expansive. It was expanding. So for me, it was like a leap forward in my chest. I felt the energy, like an energy pull forward, like, let's go, so it was that feeling for me. And then the stop, sometimes I don't always get something out of these, but this one was both. I felt both of them this time. And as soon as you said it turned red, I felt I'm sitting in a chair, but yet I felt a weightiness, like pulling my hips down and back, like I sat harder in the chair or something. I could just feel like a pressure through my hips, pulling me like in a seated position, harder, more strongly. So that was profound for me. That was
awesome. That's great. Yes. And when I do this, thank you for sharing that. When I do this experience with others, you name some similar themes that other people tend to have. And remember, there's no right or wrong way. It's really unique to everybody. But Marianne, you mentioned that the green was a pulling forward and an expansive feeling. And then the red, the no, was more of a settled, pulling backward feeling, more grounding. So what do we do with this information now? So we have our green light and red light, our yes and no. I want to invite you and everyone who's listening to just hold that information lightly and gently as you go about your day. And you might even want to practice with it. Like, you open the fridge. Is it in my best interest to eat this piece of chocolate cake? Yes or no? And kind of tune in and see, does your body say something? What does it do? Or maybe you'll even see a green light or a red light or a yellow light. So just kind of play with it. And then as you our intuition is activated best when we practice it and use it. And so I invite you to play with it and get a feel for your own yes and no, so that, when you're making decisions about smaller things, it comes more easily and naturally, and you can trust that and flow with it. Like, oh, I got a no. Okay, it's all right. Or I got a yes. So, all right, let's do that. So that when you have bigger decisions that you're facing, you will have already built up some of those muscles of your intuition. Yeah. So thank you. Thanks for doing that exercise with me. I hope that's helpful.
You doing that for us. This is good. This is very good.
Oh, fun.
A lot of goodies today from Manda. So, I have a couple of things that we can do, and Manda, this is up to you, whatever you feel like. I would like to ask you if you would pull an oracle card for us.
Ooh.
And I also have questions that have come in. What would you like to do first?
How about let's do the oracle card first.
Okay.
Then I'd love to take some questions too.
All right.
So for the oracle cards, if anyone's not familiar with oracle cards, they are ways of accessing our intuition that often deal with visuals, with archetypes and words. And Colette Baron-Reid is really a master of oracle cards. I have a number of her decks, and she has a beautiful way of phrasing what this is and how we should approach it. She says that oracle cards are prescriptive, not predictive. So, the oracle cards are not fortune telling. They don't tell you what's coming. It's more like, I like to think of it as like a weather report. Like, what's the energy like for you right now? And then when you get that weather report, you're aware of it. Like, oh, am I going to need my umbrella? Am I going to need to bring layers of clothes? Like, how do you then use that information? So let's keep that in. I'm doing this little oracle card reading, and I am going to use one of Colette Baron-Reid's decks. This is called the Enchanted Map. And I
have that one.
I felt
for that one. I have a couple of hers too.
Oh, yeah, they're great. And I felt led to use this one for us today because, wow, we've all been wandering in a new land lately, haven't we? Right? So it'd be nice to get some guidance and have a compass that we can follow. So as I'm doing these, I'm going to actually pull 3 cards, and I'm going to invite everyone to choose a number between 1 and 3. Don't overthink it. Just choose a number. It's your number. All right, got your number? And then that message is in particular for you. All right, so I'm going to shuffle the deck here. And when I pull a card, I always set the energy. And so I invite all of us to just take a breath. And we invite in now for each of our highest good, for peace in our hearts, for our ideal vibration, whatever energy or message is there for us today. And so as we're approaching coming to this, you might hold in your mind a question that you have. It's best to have an open-ended question, not a yes-no question. I often ask just a very open question, like, what energy do I need to be aware of right now? So that I don't. And so I invite you to think of your question, even if it's just very simple, like, what message is there for me right now? And hold that invitation. And have your number, whichever number you chose. And if you want to have a pen and paper nearby, if you want to make some notes, you can do that too. All right, so how I do this is we've called on the highest good of our intention. I'm going to choose 3 cards. Now, I know you can't see them, but I'll show them to you. Ooh, okay, here we go. All right, 1, 2, and 3. So this is interesting. So number 1 is compass, and it showed up in the reverse, which is a slight variation in the message. But so take a look. Just look at the image there. It's a compass. So I'm going to read the information for the reverse of compass. And as you listen to these words, even if you didn't choose number 1 card, there's some information here for all of us. And I also want to say that it's, even though we're recording this live, if you listen to this later, it's just as effective for those who are holding an intention and wanting some clarity, no matter how far down the road you listen to this. So, yeah. All right. So I'm going to put my glasses on so I can read. All right. Compass in the reverse. This is what it says. What is your higher power right now? Whatever you constantly focus on long enough becomes your higher power. If you worry about financial insecurity, materialism is your idol. If you obsess over a relationship, that is your God. If you're concerned about your weight or your looks or your status, you've lost your personal power and your way. Nothing but spirit can be your guiding force. You'll never truly find what you seek if these worries and distractions are your constant focus. Surrender and shift your compass. Be still and watch as the needle points to true north. Align yourself and you'll easily find your way back to where you're meant to be. Let's just breathe and soak that in for a minute. Ooh, compass, your true north. So there's a message there for all of us. Card number 2 is metamorphosis. Metamorphosis. So just take a look and see the images on there. I see butterflies, some flamingos in the clouds. Metamorphosis. All right. And that showed up in the upright position. So I'm going to read if card number 2 was your number. Pay particular attention. But again, Marianne, okay. Pay particular attention to this. But again, this is for all of us. Metamorphosis. You are in the process of deep and beautiful change. Butterflies earn their wings through great effort. The process of change is often painful, for it is never without losses and sacrifices. If you are to transform from one form to another, a part of you needs to die. Letting go isn't easy, especially when you're used to thinking a certain way about your life and how you live it. Just as a snake sheds its dead skin or a caterpillar dies so that a butterfly can be born, you're required to release your old ideas and embrace a necessary change so you can live your best life. Perhaps you're being asked to let go of low self-worth, a dream that no longer serves you, a relationship that's draining, or unhealthy habits. Despite your fear, you must accept that this is a transformational time for you. There will be some loss involved, but you'll love what you become. Ooh, that's a powerful one.
Good.
Just breathe that one in too, right? Ooh, metamorphosis. I think we are all in a state of metamorphosis right now, and
Absolutely.
painful, yes, but keeping our eye on what will be, what can be, the potential, the beauty of life transformed. All right, card number 3. Listening. Listening. And there's an elephant with its big ears. It looks like there's some mutes also. All right, so I'm going to read. And this came in the reverse position too. So upside down. I'm going to read this. If this was your card, you can pay particular attention, but again, this is for all of us. All right. Listening. Are you feeling that you're not being heard? That perhaps your needs aren't valid? That your song will go unsung? Now is the time to bring your message to the world. Speak up. It's time for your voice to resound throughout your sphere of influence. This is a moment to say what you mean and ask for what you want. In the reverse position, listening has another meaning too. It also asks you if you're refusing to listen to someone else, preferring to hear what you want instead of what's being said. This is the time to get out of denial. Reversed, this card always brings freedom if you heed its advice. Ooh, all right. So we have compass, metamorphosis, and listening. Really powerful messages for us today. And me too. I'm going to contemplate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's for all of us. So thank you. And so the way to continue working with this is just to lightly hold these images and words and information in our hearts and minds, especially today. Just kind of, again, like the green light, red light, just, play with them, contemplate them. Don't effort or force too much. Like, oh, what does that mean for me? It's just, it always works better if you just kind of loosely surrender and are playful and open about it.
Because don't you think a lot of times, when we do have card readings, because I do pull a lot of cards and I also use Abraham Hicks affirmation cards, which I do a lot of the videos on just for words of encouragement and teaching. But sometimes we don't always realize it when at the moment, but it's like it's something that it's either preparing us for or, just keep an eye out, because sometimes it shows up later in the day or maybe the next day. And you go, oh yeah, I remember that. She pulled that oracle card, and it'll pop in your mind. So be sensitive. Yeah. Be sensitive to that, because for me, I just picked number 2. That was the first number that popped in my head. And let me tell you also, this is how our intuition works. Because when she first asked us 1 to 3, and my mind immediately went 2. But then when I thought about it too long, I wanted to say 3.
Yeah.
And I said, no, go with my gut. Go with that first. Just because it was so quick, it was 2. And I went, so don't second guess yourself, because the card, the metamorphosis, for me is absolutely perfect. I mean, the other words are too, but because that was my first inkling, was my 2. And metamorphosis, that deep change and the butterfly, and you're talking about things that have to die. And I thought that my old thought patterns, my old beliefs are no longer for my highest good, because I've been working on those as far as letting those, releasing those and installing new, better feeling beliefs, and of course, it's just a thought we continue to think. So we just repeat it to ourselves all the time. So then we believe it. So it's easily changed. They are easily changed. You don't have to keep believing the same shit that you believed before. You can actually release some of those old thought patterns that don't feel good and don't serve you. So for me, it was as soon as you said, that some things have to die, or whatever the phrase was, I got a zing down my right thigh. And I went, okay, I know you're speaking let go of some of these old thought patterns, these doubts, these, fears. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, it's, people won't listen to me. What do I have to say?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's
Goodbye,
definitely.
goodbye to those old beliefs that don't serve you.
Absolutely. I'm installing new ones because I am joy, I am love, I am knowledge, I am wisdom. So I do a lot of that affirmation because it reminds me of who I really am.
Hmm.
And step into that, lean into who you really are. But you have to know who you are. So that's why we're here. We're both coaches. We are both leading and guiding our clients. And if you are looking for a coach that can lead you in your intuition, in your energy clearing, go see Manda. If you want other coaching from me, contact us. We're here to serve you. We are here to bless your life with the wisdom we possess. And we will work through our inner being, through that intuition that we have, and teach you how to do it for yourself. Because we're trying to train you so that you can do this on your own. This is for your life, for your metamorphosis, for your transformation. Because we're here for the purpose of living as much joy as possible. And if you're not in joy on a consistent level, you really need to contact one of us. There are thousands upon thousands of wonderful coaches you could coach with. I just happen to know 2 are sitting in here right now. So, and if it's not us, we have recommendations that we can give you.
Yes.
If you are not a fit for us and you want to coach, but we don't resonate, we know who to put you in contact with. We have multiple channels and colleagues that will serve you well. So contact us. I do have some questions that came in. Would you like to address a few of
I
these?
would love to. Yes.
Okay. Let me put my glasses back on because I'm going to have to read it. Okay, the first one is Diane. She says, I have to make a big decision, and everyone I talk to has told me different things. Now I'm confused. How do I decide? How can I know how to make the best decision for me? Do you have any tips or tricks? Or I'm afraid of making a mistake. That's a biggie. Aren't we all afraid of making a mistake?
Yes, we are. We are. And I love what Diane said. I think the key right in is in her own words. She said, what's the best decision for me?
Yes.
So I love that, Diane. You're on the right track, even just by asking this question. You're getting a lot of different ideas and feedback, and that can be very confusing. And so I want to coach you to ride the waves of the emotion that you're experiencing right now, probably fear, excitement, worry, all those things. And it's best not to make a decision out of an extreme emotion, either excitement or fear, but to rather find that steady, calm midpoint. So, it's about trusting yourself. So, it is also about surrender. So you've gotten other people's opinions. It's kind of jumbled things up even more. It sounds like there may be some wisdom in there for you. So it sounds like it's time now for you to just take that information, hold it lightly, and see what you can do to find that calm, clear center inside of you that is your let's call it your compass, just like the oracle card said, your guiding direction. Like what is it? Because it's about you. It's about, what's best for you. And more power to you. Keep us posted.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. Okay, this one was, this is Pamela. Sometimes I get a gut feeling something isn't right. How do I know if it's just my fear or just because I'm anxious because it's something new or unknown? Could that be my intuition? How can I tell?
Ooh,
Like
yeah.
when she gets something, but she's not sure if it's her or it's just like a fear or anxiety or.
Yeah, yeah. And fear, that's a good question. I actually get asked about fear, the difference between fear and intuition a lot. Like if it's fear, should I listen to that? And I want to, there is a distinction. So there's fear that is a constriction that is a legitimate way that our instinct is telling us to be careful, to be wary, to not go towards something. Remember in the green light, red light exercise, the green often has us going forward. The red has us, hunkering back. Well, fear can be a tricky one because sometimes it can be disguised. Like we think it's fear, but it's really those old beliefs or anxieties that are kind of coming up to self-sabotage us. Because sometimes fear is a good thing. Think about you're going to make a presentation in front of people. And one of the biggest fears for people is speaking in front of people, right? But does that stop people from doing it? No. Why not? Because speaking, presenting yourself, presenting your ideas is a way to expand yourself and a way to serve others, to get your message out, to be a voice among others. So there's such a thing as fear, and we want to be in tune with that. Like feel the fear and do it anyway. Sometimes we need to do that, and those can be the most magical experiences. Like we do something and we're so proud of ourselves, and it's made a huge metamorphosis transition for us from that point onward. So so I would invite you, Pamela, to think about the green light, red light, and really get in tune with what your own yes and no feels like. And again, just like what Marianne and I have been talking about, our intuition speaks briefly and often neutrally, and it's our minds that often come in and load on top of it with emotion and questions and whatnot. So do what you can to relax and surrender and find that still quiet point inside of you.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I like that you were talking about, sometimes sometimes it's fear because we want to do a good job, because even this morning, every time I get on a Facebook Live, there's that little like butterflies kind of thing because it's I want to be of service and I want it to be of value. And so it always makes me just a little bit, I just get those little, kind of butterfly feelings. And I know this is for good. So, sometimes I will push through those just because I know I am called to be of service. And I know you are too. So, yeah, I understand that part about, sometimes it is just, it's just something that a little hurdle you have to get over because when you push through, it's like a glorious opening on the other side.
Oh, so true.
I definitely agree with this. Okay. Let's see. Here's Nan. My job is getting really stressful and I feel like I need to leave, but I'm scared to leave. How do I decide when it's time? So many of us have done that.
Yes.
Pivoting in our business. That's just the timing kind of thing, I think.
Timing, because I hear in her question that she's decided she's going to leave.
To me, it sounds like, it's
okay. So the decision's been made. The decision's been made, and I actually want to pause and acknowledge that, because that's really huge. That in itself, having made that decision, is setting things in motion already energetically. Once you decide, it means you cast off, something for something else, something that is more in service of and aligned with you. So, yay, and how exciting. So I hear your question is more about the timing. And I think this is definitely a time, now that you've made the decision and energetically the universe, trust that the universe has got you. And this is a great time to put some practical plans in place. And I've found that one of the best ways to do that is to talk with a trusted person, a coach. Marianne or I would be glad to work with you, or someone else, because you want someone else to help you think through how to do it and do it well, and to what you're going towards. So I heard that your job is stressful. You decided to leave. I didn't hear what you want. And I think that's an important piece of this. I'd love for you to really put a lot of time and energy and thought and imagination in what you want to move into. Journal about it, make a vision board about it, and spend a lot of time putting your energy and time into what you're moving into. That's another way to activate the energy and help the universe know what it is that you want to move toward. So how exciting.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm sorry. That's what I'm thinking. It's like you said, she knows that it's time. She knows that it's time, but it's always what you're moving toward. It's not what you're leaving.
Right.
You don't want to focus on, I got to get away from this place, what you're wanting to, because it's not resonating with you, but whatever it is. And we don't know what direction you're going, because it wasn't in the question, but you're always moving toward. Just always remember you're moving toward. So like Manda told you, make sure you're focusing on what it is. What do you want? What is it do you want? And when you're in a place and you want to be over here to something different, something better, because every time we want something, it's because we believe we'll feel better in the having of it. So you want something better. You want an improvement. So it's that gap in between. That's what Manda's talking about. This gap in between is what you get coached on. And this is the purpose of coaching. It's we take you from where you are to where you want to go, clarify where you want to go, make sure that we have a good picture of that. And then we're helping you, guiding you to become that person. Who is it going to take to become? Who are you going to be in that gap to get to where you want to be?
Yeah.
So we're helping you and training you and guiding you during coaching to get you there.
Yeah.
Because we help you hold clear what your vision is, and then we guide you into becoming that person. Because then you'll no longer be this person back here. You'll have metamorphosized. Is that a word?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, we'll do our number 2 card. We'll do that thing. So it's definitely go for, contact us. We'll be happy to help you with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one more, and then we're gonna move on here. Elaine, I haven't talked to anyone about a decision I'm making because I know they will just confuse me. So right now, I'm feeling pretty good about what I think I'll do. But how can I relax and just go with it? Just go with it. I'm a little afraid because it is to leave my corporate job and start my own business. So it's a big step for me. Logically, I have it worked out, but there's always that question, if it's, again, it's the right time. If it's the right time, and how can I know for sure? So it's a little bit like the other one as far as timing.
Similar to it. And I really like that she's actually she's not telling a lot of people about it, about her decision. And I actually want to commend her for that and encourage her to hold that close to her heart right now, because it's in such a delicate stage right now. It's a really powerful, potent time, and you want to not expose that to other people's opinions who, may want the best for you, but their best is, oh no, stay in the corporate job where it's safe.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But it sounds like your soul is leading you toward something bigger and more exciting, and you want to be of service in a new way. So I think we would go back to like the previous question. This is definitely a time. I mean, it sounds like you have a really good thinking mind. It sounds like you have a plan, and I would want you to get some support through this time, because even though you do have a plan, it's a hard thing, and you're going to need support from people who really have your highest good in mind. And coaching is a great way to do that. Or if you have a trusted friend, someone to accompany you along, especially this time. It's a really exciting, fragile, potent time. And gosh, I'm excited for you and what you're going to be bringing to the world.
Yes. And I wanted to let you all know, even though we are coaches, we hire coaches. Yeah. It's what we do. It's what we all need. I mean, just because we're in the position that we are in, Manda and I both hire coaches. We have people walk by our side, because just because we're here, we still have goals. We still have desires to be over here. We want more transformation in our own lives. Mm-hmm. So don't think that you ever stop. We never stop. This is a lifelong journey for transformation. We're always evolving. We're always changing and growing. We're never the same person 2 days in a row, moment by moment. So coaches hire coaches. We do this. So know that we are always looking for a new coach, because we have specific goals and things that we want to accomplish and transformations that we desire. So, feel free, again, like I said, to contact us and let us know that you want coaching, or that you're at least interested in finding out a little bit more about it. So,
right. I'd love to have a conversation with anyone who's interested, and we can talk and see what your needs are. I'd love to hear that. And Marianne makes an excellent point. I know that I would not be where I am today without the coaching and encouragement and accountability along the way. Someone else to help me hold the vision for what I want in my life. So it's, Marianne said it so well. Coaching, anyone who wants more for their lives, coaching is a beautiful way to access that and expand in ways that we can't even imagine for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And again, that's where Manda and I met. We met through a coaching program with our mentor, with our coach. So it is, we're always on a quest for more, because that's who we are. The universe's mantra is more. We live in a vibrational universe, and the universe's mantra is more. The language of the universe is vibration. So we want that. We desire more, and it's more life. Our inner being is always calling for more life. And we also hire coaches to help us into that more life. So feel free to contact. I know both of us have availability on our calendars for discovery calls or strategy sessions, whatever. I'm not sure what Manda calls hers, but mine is a discover your joy and well-being call. So What are your discovery sessions called?
Intuitive, intuitive guidance strategy session.
Awesome. Okay. Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
So I know you, besides your guide, which is a free guide that you've provided, and again, it's at mydivineintuition.com/guide. So go there. I'll put it in the comments again. But you were telling me you had an event or something coming up. What is that?
I do.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. I have a spirit circle coming up on Thursday, May 21st at 2 p.m. Central Time. It's an hour and 15 minutes together in a virtual group. And it's a way to kind of get a taste for working with me. It's $29. And it's a time for you to really go deep into connecting with your own intuition. I lead people through some experiences and share some stories and do some coaching. And people have been seeking out the spirit circle when they're at some sort of crossroads in their life, or, things have been so muddled these past couple months that a lot of people have felt really upended and empty, confused, concerned. And so coming into my spirit circle virtually as I hold the container of support and energy for us, there's something that happens when people gather in a group that really raises the energy of everybody. So it's a potent space, the spirit circle coming together. So I'd love for you to check that out. It's on my website in the Work With Me section, Spirit Circle, on Thursday, May 21st at 2 p.m. Central Time.
Is it the 21st or 22nd?
Thursday, the 21st.
Okay, very good. I guess I initially wrote it down wrong. My pink pen didn't write the right number. Okay. So that's coming up. That's next week.
That's coming this week, this Thursday.
So people need to register for that.
Yes.
And you'll find that, what is it under your Work With Me section?
Work With Me page in the groups section. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very good. Well, I think we're coming to a close, Manda. And, I want to thank everybody for watching, and I know the replay will be a blessing also. And take to heart what Manda is talking about with your intuition and the card readings that she pulled. Go back and re-listen to those. Pick your card. When she says pick a card, pick your card so that it will resonate with you. So just let me do a quick announcement. Our next Coffee and Convo Live is going to be Sunday, June 14th. And it's 10 a.m. Central again. It's going to be here on my Facebook page. So you'll find it right where you found this one. And our guest next month is going to be Robin Finney of wanderingant.com. So Robin is an intuitive and guides women into their own clarity, confidence, and empowered, authentic lives. She's a solo traveler and international model. So definitely don't want to miss next month's Coffee and Convo Live, because Robin is another dear friend and colleague, and she will bring her message. And if you want to look at her website, it is wanderingant.com. So
ant as in ant with nieces and nephews, AUNT.
Yes. Yeah. What does she call herself? She calls herself the extraordinary aunt or something like that, because of her nieces and nephews. So she's just a delight. Yeah. So we're going to enjoy Robin on June 14th at 10 a.m. Central for our next Coffee and Convo Live. Is there any closing words you would like to have, Manda? You would like to say, or?
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Marianne. This conversation was delightful. I hope it was helpful for everybody, and I could really feel the good energy of the people tuning in, and really look forward to connecting with some of you. If there's any way I can be of service, please step over to my website, and Marianne as well, mariannepack.com. What a delight. And Maybe we could end with a nice deep cleansing breath and just bringing ourselves home. Deep, long breaths are a way to relax ourselves and help us connect with our inner being, our inner wisdom, which is there to serve us always.
Always. I can't reiterate that one enough. Our inner being is always there. Our intuition is always accessible. So I love you all. Thank you, Manda, so much for joining me on Coffee and Convo Live. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. And we will see you on June 14th with our guest, Robin Finney. I love you all. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks, Manda.
Bye.